All right, Plunksters, and we're back. Welcome back to Plunked. Once again, this is the podcast where we talk about two sports teams in one magnificent city, the city of Chicago. I am your host today, Emilio Bucks, filling in for Emilio Bucks and Kristen Petit. Emilio Bucks. Uh, so, wow, it's been a while since we broadcast. Just came back from vacation in the northern part of Michigan, the upper mitten area. However, I get my hand situated there. Petoskey, Michigan. Beautiful area. You know, being in Chicago, you forget um, how flat it is here. And you don't realize till you go someplace else and you start seeing hills and mountains. And then you remember, how come Chicago doesn't look like this? Because we're sitting on just a complete flat plane of ground. So nice to get away for a little while, but even nicer to be back. Uh, just getting back off of the All-Star break in MLB. Sox in action. Let's take a look at today's highlights if we could. Let's see, let's take here. Okay. Chrome was lost submission. Let's see what we can do about getting this going here. Corner. Okay. And so today, Sox in action against the Cleveland Guardians. I'm not sure if I'll ever get used to saying the Guardians, although I understand why we don't say the Cleveland Indians anymore. I understand why we don't say the Washington Redskins anymore. I understand these things, um, but still just haven't, you know, made that transition of getting used to saying the Guardians. But anyway, Sox and Guardians finished up a 4-game series coming out of All-Star break. Did not start this series with the same momentum that we went into All-Star break with. As we know, went into All-Star break with a taking 3 of 4 games against the Minnesota Twinkies, aka the Piranhas. Losing the first 2 at home, which hurts. We are about 6 games under 500 at home, which just makes absolutely no sense to me. A team this good with this much offensive firepower in a hitters friendly ballpark such as Guaranteed Rate, not able to win more games there. So that's a bit unfortunate, but we do what we can. So today was the Dylan Cease show. 6 innings, not his best stuff, but 7 hits, 0 runs, 0 earned. That's the most important stat, bringing his ERA down to a young 2.03. So also leads the league in strikeouts. Mr. Dylan Cease does. Why he was not in Dodger Stadium this past Tuesday for All-Star game, I don't know why. I don't know what happened there. Just stupid. Once again, the White Sox getting the short end of the stick there. But in any case, we win this game today, splitting the series 2-2. bringing us still 4 games behind the Minnesota Twinkies, just one behind the Cleveland Guardians for second in the division. You know, this team is continuously frustrating me because at this point, you either want them to just either give it up and fall out of the race or to turn it on finally. And I guess something to be proud or happy about is I think a month ago, the White Sox lose this series against the Guardians 3 games to 1 or even get swept, which we saw early in the year. However, getting the split is an improvement, not quite as much of an improvement as we'd like to see. Tim Anderson, 1 for 4 with a run. Johan Moncada struggled today, 0 for 4, although he is hitting just under 300 in the past 10 games. So we are starting to see some signs of life from Mr. Moncada. I can't stress enough how integral his left-handed bat is to this lineup and is to the success of this team. It just really is, especially with the constant circus of injuries that this team keeps suffering. Luis Robert out right now with a head injury. I don't know. He's had some blurred vision, um, and was placed on the IL. So I'm not sure if that could be kind of a leftover thing from COVID or what's going on with Mr. Robert, why he's still out of the lineup and how much longer he'll be out of the lineup. However, we have seen a couple of homers from Eloy Jimenez in this past few games, which is always good. Had a scary moment taking a pitch off of that right hand. Like the last person you need to want to see get hurt at this point is Eloy. Uh, Shane Bieber on the bump today for the Guardians. 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned. Uh, Definitely not his best stuff today. He usually fares pretty well against these White Sox and struggled right out of the gate today. The game plan seemed to be was to go right at Bieber, look for that first pitch strike, and you saw a lot of aggressive hitting today, which is a good thing. AJ Pollock, 1 for 3, including a 3-run home run in the bottom of the second. You know that at the time made it 5-0. So he's started to pick it up. Average still at 232, but has started to pick it up. Jose Abreu, 1 for 4. He's hitting at a 304 clip, 388 on base percentage, slugging at 468. So Pito is doing Pito type things. Again, we're waiting for Eloy to kind of get his legs underneath him and really make a constant contribution to this team. Gavin Sheets, 2 for 4 today with a run, making the best of his stint back up here in the bigs. You kind of get the feeling that once he got sent down that past like a few weeks ago when he was sent back down, he has made the best of his situation coming back up. So he's looking to do some things. It's good for Mr. Sheets, a friend of the Chicago clubhouse, as a matter of fact. Sebi Zavala 0 for 3. My little man, Leury Garcia with a 2-run dinger. What can you say? He's talk about a consummate pro. He's taken it on the chin from fans and from the media alike, mostly due to Tony La Russa's fondness of him and kind of a guy who continuously cracks the lineup just as much as any all-star would. And so, which might be questionable considering he's hitting 204. But he keeps finding a way to crack the lineup and finding a way to contribute. So I won't shit on Garcia because he's doing what he can. He can't help that Tony La Russa puts him in these kind of unfortunate situations here. So once again, the Sox still 4 back. Still kind of a lot of the same things that you're seeing from the Sox. They're on and off, hot and cold, not fielding the ball particularly well. When you see something like that, with pros, these are professionals. These are the best professionals in the world here that you see playing every day in the MLB. And so when they struggle with things like where to go with, just situational running, bad base running, bad defense, it kind of just smells of a lack of discipline, which I believe discipline comes from the coach, comes from the coaching staff. And if anything, I would say that's where Tony might be failing them. Maybe he's taking the grandfather role too seriously. As you know, like with the grandparents aren't generally disciplinarians. Grandparents let the kids get away with anything, feed them candy for breakfast and dinner, um, and then hand them back over to the parents to do all of the dirty work, except there's no parental figure here. The Sox aren't being quite as accountable to themselves as they may need to be, especially having a skipper who doesn't seem to be holding them accountable, which is unfortunate. You know, um, this team's still loaded with talent, but just continuously underachieving. I don't know what the over or under is right now in the Sox making the playoffs. Um, you know, they still have the easiest record remaining in the majors the remaining of the year. We have tomorrow off, making the trip out to Colorado for a short 2-game set at the Rockies, then hopping back home to, let's see, who do we have? For 3 at home against Oakland, 3 at home against the Kansas City Royals. Then we take the show on the road to Arlington, where we got 4 at the Texans, then 4 at Kansas City. Now, these are all very, 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 very beatable teams. But as we know and have seen, the White Sox are also a very beatable team. And so when the opponents see the Sox on the schedule, they think that they have a beatable team that they're facing, just as the White Sox may look and see Colorado on the schedule or Oakland on the schedule. At this point, the Sox aren't guaranteed to beat anybody, I would say. And it's gonna be a tight race. I believe that this team is gonna hover at or around 500 the rest of the year. And right now, the fight is to just stay in it to have a shot at taking this division. There's no way in hell they're gonna get a wild card spot. Not with this record. Not with the rest of the teams that are in the AL, including Still can't sleep on Boston. Still can't sleep on Tampa. Can't sleep on Toronto. The Yankees have all but run away with that AL East. But those other teams that are in the division are still hungry and they're still playing good ball. And oftentimes, you might argue they're playing better ball than the White Sox and would be the ones to get those wild card spots. Right now, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more Plunked. All right, and we're back. I guess I will make mention that the boys on the north side, the Cubbies, just completed I believe it was a 4-game sweep of the Philadelphia Phillies. Still a struggling team, struggling because of lack of talent is one thing. Struggling like the White Sox because of lack of consistency is a much greater issue, I would say. Abreu really heating up, hitting at 304 right now, known to heat up as the weather heats up. Now we can only hope that as the weather begins to cool in the upcoming months, that he doesn't cool because we're going to need him for sure. And we just need to hope that this White Sox team can get and stay healthy. Uh, Injuries are a part of the game, but damn, it's like soon as one guy comes up, comes off that IL, it seems like we're sending another one right back down. It's been a struggle to stay healthy. I don't know. It's a lot of hamstring issues. I don't know what's going on. They're not stretching. Who's their stretching coach? Is there a stretching coach? You know, do we need some sort of like Zen type of meditation slash yoga? Like that might help. That might help to keep those hammies loosened up. Um, we don't have much today. As you can see, I'm rolling solo. Uh, just going through some stuff and hoping for the best. I have spent a lot of time, watching White Sox baseball this year. And it has been frustrating to say the least. Um, Good news is we're back at 500 with a 48-48 record. Again, 21-27 at home. That is not going to cut it. Home field is supposed to be home field. That's home field advantage. That's a term for a reason. You know, my favorite punkster Deb says, "I wish the players would man up and just play. Enough of the injuries." I hear you. I hear you. They're more hurt than ever, and players are oftentimes more muscular than ever. You know, the shooter Rod Beck, notoriously famous for saying you can't pull fat, and the shooter was right. I'm not saying that the players should let themselves get fat, but I don't know, maybe a little too much muscle isn't always the best thing. More muscle, more possibility of injury, evidently, from what I can see. Let's see what else. Hendricks, happy that he's back. You know, I heard some chirps about Hendricks about the tightness in that forearm that he went through a few weeks ago. Um, you know, like of him possibly needing some surgery, but apparently he's able to push through it, and he's done well. He did give up a run today in the ninth, but was still able to close it out. Deb, you're saying you're some agents tell them to play soft, don't push it. Yeah, you know, like I never forget that hamstring tear that Aloy suffered the game before. He was kind of criticized for not hauling ass down to first base on what was a routine grounder. Had he pushed it a little bit harder, possibly could have beat the run out, but he caught a lot of flack for not running that out. And the very next day, when he attempted to really run hard on a ground ball, was when he suffered that hamstring tear. Now, I'm not saying that he should take it easy and he should kind of skip his way down the first base line, but that's kind of what we're dealing with. You know, 1 minute you try not to overly exert yourself sprinting the first base, and the next minute you do so, and you know, and it cost you 20 something games or something, if not more. So I remember when this wasn't a conversation. You know, you always just ran it out, and it wasn't an issue about guys getting hurt. So I don't know how we got to where we are today, but this is where we are. Let's check on our next opponent, being the Colorado Rockies. The Colorado Rockies, 43 and 53. Jesus, I don't know if Chris Bryant. I know he still plays for the Rockies organization, but man, like, uh, what was it? Was it money? What made him go to the Rockies to toil in obscurity? You know, and then he was hurt. Let's see where he is. Is he back playing yet? I think he's back playing. Yeah, he's not on the IL. Let's check the stats on the former Chicago Cub, Mr. Bryant, if we could. Let's take a look here. Don't remember injuries like this back in the day. I don't either, Deb. I don't either. And so let's see. Mr. Bryant, let's see. What are his stats, if we could? All right. Hitting 278 with a 375 on base percentage, slugging at 501. Not a bad year. 19 home runs, more than anybody on the White Sox currently. I still think Mr. Bryant was somebody the White Sox should have considered going after. Although they didn't, I thought that he was somebody that they should have considered. But in any case, the Rockies sitting in fourth place, are ripe for the pickings. You know, they're ripe. They could be beat, and we could use yes, exactly, Deb. Not a bad year for Chris, but who notices because of the team he's on? Exactly. Like, why go there? You know, I don't know. Javi Baez struggling a bit this year is starting to pick it up, but who will ever know playing in Detroit? They just signed their careers away to obscure teams. I thought was odd and unfortunate. So 2 at the Rockies, 4 against the A's coming up. The A's in a rebuilding phase. Shout out to my brother-in-law, James, who is a self-appointed A's fan. You know, these are just teams that the White Sox should be able to beat, period. But it's questionable. It's questionable because there's just a lot of inconsistencies with this team, and you never know what team you're going to get from day to day. And I got to say, doing this podcast, it definitely forces you to pay attention to the team more. And my God, doing this podcast alone is like murder. It's like I feel a little insane, like I'm talking to myself because there's no back and forth. Like, how do people do this in their right mind and just yammer on and on about their team? And how does a Chicago sports blogger, a podcaster, do this, talking about mediocre Chicago sports, just yammering like I'm doing now? I mean, and I can't help it because we got to hold the ship down. Kristen, you are the MVP of this show. Can't wait for you to get back. Let's take a little break. Pay some bills, literally. My light bill is due. I'll be right back.
Things changed in a heartbeat in that locker room. Cease fires a 2-2 high chopper, third base side. Moncada's got it on the big hop, and a good scoop by Jose Abreu gets him. Called strike 3 with a big slider right over the middle, throws hedges, and there is that first strikeout for Dylan Cease. That's it. It's a big 3-2 early to Miles Straw. Called strike 3, he got him. Shane Bieber against Gavin Sheets. Still no score. Bottom 2. Sheets rips one through the shift for a leadoff single. Hitters count for Leury. 3-1. High fly into right field. Back goes Reyes at the wall, and it's gone! Weaver sprays one into left, down for a hit. Sox have made contact early against Shane Bieber. Oh, one coming. Into left and down. Engel will hold up just past second as Kwan got to it quickly. 1 for 2 for Tim Anderson. Pollock the hitter. First pitch swinging, cranked into left. Back goes Kwan. It's over the bullpen. 3-2 from Dillon. Got him swinging. The pitch by Dillon. Tapped out to third. Moncada's got it. The flip to second. Lauri to first. He got him. See how Cease battles back after getting plunked. Ground ball to short. Underhand shovel to second. Fielder's choice gets him out. He's feeling just fine. Thank you very much. Sox lead at 5-0. Head to the bottom of the 5th.
Being a professional is learning how to win with less than your best.
Called strike 3 on one of the better curveballs that Cease has had today. 4 strikeouts. Reyes down looking.
Oh, it's very, very stylish.
Eloy cranks one left center. This is deep and gone. Graveman's 1-2. Sword from Jimenez. And a strikeout for Graveman.
Who would like to acquire. However, you're looking at a team that is fairly financially strapped, shall we say. I mean, they're not going to go out and extend themselves money-wise.
Graveman's 2-2. Got him swinging. So he comes back after allowing the 2-run home run to Reyes. Sox hold a 6-2 lead as we go to the 8th. Righty-righty matchup. Got him swinging. Breaking ball works. Call down on a strikeout. 0-2 coming. Runner stays put. Strikeout for Hendricks. That's the second and a big one, too. He gets Josh Naylor the 4-run lead. No save on the board, but the Sox need the win. Here it is. Ground ball right side. Easy play. The White Sox win it. 6-2. They come back and win the final pair in this 4-game series against Cleveland. Steve, they needed it. They got it.
And there you had it. White Sox 6-3 winners over the Cleveland Guardians. Yeah, Frank the Tank, my brother's in here. Dylan Cease is a monster. The intimidating porno stash, that porno stash with that leg kick. How was he not an all-star? Why was he not in LA on Tuesday? I will never know. How does the guy leading the majors in strikeouts, not as a hitter, but as a pitcher, how does he not make the all-star team? I don't know. Who do I get on the phone about this? Also, the White Sox wearing their Sunday's best. Just love those throwback unis. It always reminds me of my childhood as a White Sox fan. Those were the uniforms they were wearing when I first started paying attention to the Sox. And so the one I want is really a Harold Baines. And the cat is always in my way. Shows how much of an embarrassment the All-Star game is by not voting him in. Yes, this is true, Frank. This is true. But glad he's pitching for our boys, our ace, Mr. Dylan Cease. With that being said, Sox 2 games against Colorado coming up, followed by 4 with the A's. I'm sorry, 3 with the A's. And so I'm going to call it a show for the day. Thank you all for joining me. Again, this is Emilio Bucks. Let's see what you had to say about Hayden because he couldn't pitch because he pitched the last game for. Well, yeah, I mean, he still could have been picked, though, and even not pitched. I think there's always pitchers on the All-Star roster who don't pitch, aren't they? I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure There usually are a couple who actually just don't pitch. But give him that all-star check. You know what I mean? Give him that look. You know. But again, this is Emilio Bucks filling in for Emilio Bucks and Kristen Petit. We will be back not in 2 weeks, but in 1 week. That's right. Today's a short show, so we're going to follow up with an extensive show next Sunday on back-to-back shows here on Plunk. Once again, this is the show that celebrates two baseball teams, two mediocre, two bad baseball teams, but two baseball teams nonetheless. One magnificent city, that city being the city of Chicago. And with that being said, we'll catch you all next time.